guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that little subscribe button and hit that bell icon. That way you can be the first to be notified. And if you know anyone that would like to subscribe to my channel, go ahead and send them my way with that little share button. So anyway, I've been MIA for the last, I don't know, week and a half, I guess, maybe 2 weeks. I've been pretty sick, and then I ended up with a abscessed tooth and haven't been out of bed in the last few days, so I'm in pajamas. I'm still here, I'm still thinking about you guys, but I have been sick, and so that's what's been going on. I am doing my September wrap-up. I had a really good month. I read 9 books. The first book that I attempted to read, I did DNF this one, was Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer. I believe like the 5th book in the Twilight series. It is all told from Edward's perspective. You hear everything he's thinking, all the stuff that's going on in his head. I did get about halfway through the book before I did DNF it. I got so bored. I don't know if it was because, well, it's partly because, you know, we've already read Twilight, so it's not as exciting hearing it from another person's perspective. It actually, you know, because you know what's coming, you know what's going on. I didn't feel like a lot of the same things lined up, like from reading Twilight and reading this one. I think that the timelines were a little bit off, or like things happened in here that didn't happen in there. I don't know. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've actually read Twilight, and so for me, it just felt like things were added in here, or like the timeline was off, and so it just kind of kept throwing me out of the storyline. Also, the majority of this book is like you're just hearing Edward's thoughts. You know, there's not a lot of action going on. There's not a lot of plot line going on. It's just all inner monologue, and that was very boring for me. I gave this a 2 out of 5 because when there were parts of the book that he was actually interacting with other characters and having more of a monologue or more action, then I actually got into reading it, and it was interesting. But because it was just his inner monologue, I didn't give it very good ratings. Plus I did DNF it, so I don't know if you can consider my 2 stars even a rating, because I didn't even finish it. So the next book I read was Geekerella by Ashley Poston, and this is kind of a Cinderella retelling in the modern world, I guess, and I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was a nice contemporary read. I hadn't had a contemporary read in a long time, so it was kind of fun and lighthearted and just really entertaining. The next book I read was The Ash Princess, and this is by Laura Sebastian. This is about a princess that her kingdom is taken over when she's very young. Her mom's murdered in front of her eyes, and then she's kept around in the Conquering Kingdom, which they took over her castle and everything like that. So she's living in her home, but she's being ruled over by this barbaric king, and he abuses her. Anytime her kingdom tries to revolt or do anything, he takes it out on her publicly. This is definitely a slow burn. I did give it 3 stars. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with the rest of the trilogy. I know I was really excited for it, but it was very slow paced, and for me, it was almost too slow of a pace for me. The next book that I read was Crave, and this is by Tracy Wolff, and I really did enjoy this book. It is it's about a vampire, and it kind of, okay, so if you've read Twilight and if you've read Vampire Academies, put those together, and that's kind of this book. which is funny because they actually, oh no, not Vampire Academy. What was it? Legacies, the TV show Legacies. But and it's funny because this book actually mentions Legacies and Twilight, but it does have a lot of the same things going on in this book. So it was kind of more like a comfort read for me. The author has a really good way of getting you drawn into the story. I did give this book 4 out of 5 stars. It was still a really, really fun read. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to picking up the next book. The next book just came out. I really had a fun time reading this one. The next book that I read was Warrior of the Wild, and this is by Tricia Levenseller. There's a couple of different tribes in the area, and she is learning to be the next warrior slash ruler of this tribe. Anyhow, each kid has to learn how to do certain things and then take a test on it in, well, like when they're 18 or whatever. And if they fail their test, they get kicked out of the tribe, which they're not allowed to go to any tribe, so they have to go live in the wild, which everything in the wild is going to kill them. And so there is this like god that lives in the wild, and every year he comes and all the tribes give him I want to say donations, but that's the wrong word for it. Anyway, they give him things to keep him from killing everyone, and it's basically pacifying the god. And so what happens is she doesn't pass, or she's set up and ends up not passing her test, and so they give her a trial to be able to come back into the tribe, and her test is to go kill the god, which is like basically you're condemning her to death. But anyway, I don't want to get too much into it just because like it's so good. She just has a way of you like sucking you into the story, and just really it's like watching a movie in your head while reading this book. It's so good. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. The next book that I read was Hunted by Megan Spooner, and this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's kind of hard to go into what the story is about. It does have a lot of A Court of Thorns and Roses vibe to it, a little bit. So like if you want something to read that is sort of like A Court of Thorns and Roses, that would be this one. But it's more instead of it going into all of the extra whatever that series goes into, this one still stays more true to the Beauty and the Beast storyline, I guess you could kind of say that. I gave this one 4 stars overall. I really did enjoy this read. It was a really fun read, and it's what's the word? Yeah. Anyway, so this one, I recommend this one if you are wanting more of a Beauty and the Beast retelling type read. It was very good. The next book that I read was Stranger Planet by Nathan W. Pyle, and this is a graphic novel. I did read, this is the sequel that he just came out with, and I absolutely loved his first book. It's about aliens doing regular human things, but it's like done in a quirky, kind of funny way, and it's just a really easy, simple, fun, lighthearted read that you get chuckle out of. I did give this one 4 out of 5 stars. I think that the first book was just that much better, and because you've read the first book, reading this one, you already kind of know the humor that is being brought into it, so I don't know if it was as funny because you already knew the type of humor. I don't know, but it still was really enjoyable, and I had a lot of fun reading this one. Next book was Eligible by Curtis Sittenfeld. I think that is his name. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling. I did not like this book. I gave it 2 stars. I'm surprised I finished this book. I wanted to DNF it so many times. There were so many things in here that I did not like. If you're wanting a true Pride and Prejudice retelling, this is not the book for you. Because it just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It just seems like he comes across like more judgmental about the different characters, like bringing in like, you know, talking about lesbians and trying to talk about black people. But the way he does it, I feel it's more condescending than it is like trying to be more diverse in his book. Also, Elizabeth Bennet, I do not like her character in this whatsoever. And the whole point of wanting to read a Pride and Prejudice is because you love Elizabeth Bennet. You absolutely enjoy her back and forth with Mr. Darcy. And this was like, there was a little bit of fun between her and Mr. Darcy, but her character just grated on my nerves so much. And, you know, I didn't like the fact that because her parents were Republican, they were automatically like racist and, you know, prejudiced. And I didn't like that because I don't think those two go hand in hand. I think you can be any political party and have a problem with race, or be any political party and not have a problem with race. So that really got on my nerves. Yeah, this is a book I will never read again. I will probably donate it or sell it or get rid of it somehow. But this definitely was not a good read. And finally, the last book I read was My Blood Approves, and this is by Amanda Hocking. This is a vampire type book where it does remind me a lot of Twilight with this reading. And I know it's hard to, you know, a lot of vampire books you're like, oh, Twilight. But this does bring in a lot of the Twilight stuff. It was a fun read, but like it was still kind of slow, and the lead character cries a lot, which is quite annoying. It was very frustrating. Like, you're just like, suck it up, sister, you know, stop being such a baby is what I wanted to say. I mean, there were certain times where, yeah, I would have probably broken down and cried, but there were other times where I'm like, seriously? Like, you're a codependent person. You need to knock it off, you know, grow some balls. But, yeah, like, it was still a really fun read. This is like a whole series. I think there's like 4 or 5 books in this. I'm currently sort of reading the second book right now, but I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it right now or just kind of put it on the back burner to finish later, because we're getting into the October reads really soon here, and I'm excited about those. However, I really enjoy Amanda Hocking's books. I like the way she writes. It kind of sucks you in, even though like you may not thoroughly enjoy the story. It's like hard to put her books down just because of the way that she writes, and I love her books. So anyway, that was all of the books that I read for the month of September. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, that way anytime I upload a video you'll be notified, and go ahead and hit that share button and share my videos to those that you think might enjoy my videos. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.